Hello world, it is Tuesday, May 19th, and another overcast and rainy day. I think, if I've heard correctly, we've had maybe close to 4 inches of rain in various parts of Defiance County. I know my pool is almost filled to overflowing, so it's been quite a lot. I hope the farmers are okay. Today's devotional is entitled The Power of Patience, written by Marche Greer. And she bases her devotional on James chapter 5, verse 7, the New International Version. It says, "Be patient then, brothers and sisters, until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crop, patiently waiting for autumn and spring rains." Marche writes, "No, Mom, I can do it. Of course, I knew it all at 5. After relentlessly telling my mom I didn't need her help brushing my teeth, she finally gave in. It took approximately 2.5 seconds for me to drop a huge glob of toothpaste on my new dress. It was picture day, and she sent me to school with a smiling face and a huge white stain in the center of my chest. My first school picture was my favorite school picture because it was my first real lesson in the wisdom of patience. There are so many times I've looked at God's presence in my life like I looked at my mother's hand that day. I want God to just hand over my problems and let me figure out a solution. So many of us share the kryptonite of the just let me do it spirit. In God's divine wisdom, perhaps she knows we need reminders to slow down and wait. James told the early church that there is a reaping in the waiting. He explains farmers must spend just as much time planting as they do waiting, and both are equally important to the process of growth. Maybe it's time we slow down and let God have our toothbrush. We might just hear a word from on high. We might realize we should go left instead of right. We might just realize how much wisdom can be found in the waiting. Marche's prayer. Dear God, in a world that doesn't stop moving, help me find peace in showing patience. Amen. Well, patience. That's something I think we need a lot of right now. I haven't heard much of it from our congregation, but I know some people are really clamoring and putting pressure on their pastors to reopen worship, as they say, even though we've been having worship virtually. Reopen the building is really what they want, is to gather in person. But I think our consistory is of similar mind, is we have to have patience. We shouldn't jump in too quickly. So we're developing a plan on what it's going to look like when we reopen, because we will reopen the building and start engaging in personal worship, but we need some protocols in place, and that takes a little bit of time and some thought, because, frankly, one of the things we're really worried about is that we're so anxious to see each other again that we won't, we will have a hard time not shaking hands and hugging one another and standing close, and with the coronavirus still active and growing in our environment, that may not be the best thing for any of us. So, patience. We'll get there. We can still communicate. God's presence is still in our midst. Just remember you're deeply loved, and have patience. Pray if you need to. Pray even if you don't need to. Talk to you soon.